Hello, my name is Rayhanatul, and as you can tell by the title, my topic is the body positivity movement, or more specifically, the flaws of this movement. Before I start talking about the information and opinions I gathered throughout the months, I'll first define the two terms that I'll be using in my presentation. The terms being fat activism based on fat acceptance and body positive activism based on body positivity. These two terms are brilliantly explained by Amelia Morris in her article Fat Activism and Body Positivity Freedom from Dieting, where she states that whilst fat activism aims to resist overarching structures that oppress the fat body, body positive activists view power as residing within the individual and possessing the potential for liberation. This means that fat acceptance is about fighting against anything that seems to be suppressing those who are fat, while body positivity is about having power in oneself. Now that that is out of the way, let's talk about the problem that is at hand. I can guarantee that many of my viewers are wondering what can possibly be wrong with the movement that is empowering people. To that, I respond that that's the problem. The fact that this movement is being disguised as something better than what it really is. The problem is that no one talks about the negative outcomes of the movement's beliefs, which then causes the movement to only expand and wreak havoc on many other lives. While I do believe that the beginning of the movement was innocuous enough, I also think that it morphed into something dangerous. The reason why I'm pursuing this topic is because I was also a victim of the movement. I have been and currently still am overweight. It has been a problem that I've been struggling with for a long time. In the past, it was clear to myself that there was something wrong with me. I noticed that I had a hard time doing things that my classmates would do with ease. An example of this would be the game of tag. It was such a simple game, but I would always dread it because no matter how hard I tried, I would always become it. At the time, I just assumed that there was something fundamentally wrong with me until middle school came and I was asked by a classmate why was I so fat. That was the moment where my life revolved around the weight that I carried. I started indulging in bad habits like skipping all the meals and only eating during dinner. In my mind, I thought I had enough fat in my body that it wouldn't matter if I starved. This kept going until I found out about the body positivity movement. Now all of a sudden, bodies like me, like my own, are being cherished and appreciated everywhere, causing me to finally be happy about my body. But this soon came with its own problems. Now all the health problems that come with being overweight was invisible to me. People were justifying my bad eating habits and nobody was telling me I was doing anything wrong. It got to the point where I truly did believe I was invincible to any health problems, which caused me to gain even more weight. I wanted to know where the perfect goal of the movement took a turn for the worse, and I wanted to know whether I was the only one who took things too far for body positivity. These are the two questions I focus on when researching my topic. To truly understand this movement, one must understand where this movement came from. The first signs of this movement was during the Victorian era, which were the 1850s to 1890s, and it took place in the United States and Great Britain and was practiced by middle class women. During this time, it was customary for women to wear tight fitting corsets that physically alters their body and displaces the organs. Many people viewed this as being a must in order to feel beautiful, despite the high risk of being infertile. This was also a time in which the feminism movement started to grow, which led many women to start believing that it is not their job to look pretty at the expense of their health. This caused many people to stop wearing corsets. Reformists also created their own clothing to revolt against the social construct. This is shown in the screen. Another major event was the release of Lou Lauterbach's article, More People Should Be Fat, on November 4th, 1967. In this article, Lauterbach discusses the life of a fat person and how many fat people are being disrespected everywhere, including the workplace, and the amount of insecurity one faces when they are overweight. He also discussed that many people are trying to push this narrative that if you are fat, that there's something wrong with you, or that you have a trauma that pushed you to be overweight, when that is not the case. For context, both himself and his wife are overweight and had enough with people fat shaming them. Lauterbach was stated to be the first person in history that talked about fat acceptance as well as discrimination based on size. Although him writing this was not the reason the movement was created, it did greatly shine light into the discrimination of those who are overweight. Almost right away, when I was researching my topic, I found that there are many people who have gone through the same experiences as me, and some who have suffered even more. In research, I came across the sayings of Shaviz Turner, who is the Chief Policy and Strategy Officer for the National Eating Disorders Association. In the article, Why the Body Positivity Movement is Turning Some People Off by Gretchen Brown, that Turner was referencing, stated that Turner, who struggled with body image issues and an eating disorder, used to believe that she was only well if she loved herself all the time. While one should love themselves whenever possible, Gretchen then explains that not being able to embrace those moments where you're having difficulty can actually set you up, if you have an eating disorder, to engage in that disorder. In short, what Brown is trying to say is that the movement is causing people to fake their happiness and ignore any downhills in their lives. This undoubtedly creates mental and emotional trauma which can cause long-term damage. One such person who experienced a trauma was Casey Ho, who became a body positive idol unintentionally. In her mini YouTube documentary, Ho discussed how she was getting bullied online about how she was too fat to be a personal trainer. Due to this, she made a video on the subject that crowned her the spokesperson for the movement. Everything was going well for her until she brought up the idea of losing weight in order to be healthier, something that makes sense since she is a personal trainer. This comment caused the body positivity movement to admonish her for not being body positive, since losing weight means that one does not love their body. She was harassed for this role that she never even applied for. This experience only served to prove that this movement comes with a lot of trauma, either due to one's hiding their sadness or being admonished for wanting to change their weight. There was also a person that I found that seemed to be in the same situation as myself. This person was a 200-pound mother named Kelly DeVos who claimed that her body was healthy at any size. Like myself, she did not think any health problems would come out of this belief and convinced herself that she was invisible to the point where even when her doctor said she had type 2 diabetes, she tried to argue that she was actually healthy. This is a prime example of how many people become blindsided by the movement to the point where they liken the concerns of health officials to hate crimes. Now, I do believe that the movement definitely did have some good influences. It is amazing that people of all sizes are being appreciated, but the problem lies in the lack of awareness of the risk of being overweight. A quote that I believe that most brilliantly conveys my point is by Lizzie Cernick, who said that your body is your own business, but actively encouraging unhealthy lifestyle choices and denying health risk in a public space isn't promoting body positivity. It's just giving the green light to different kinds of eating disorders. Everybody is entitled to love themselves and feel comfortable in their own body, but there's a thin line between personally being overweight and encouraging others to remain or become more overweight for the sake of body positivity. Based on what I have researched and experienced, I believe that this movement, which was initially a way for people to feel happy and be liberated from societal norms, became a wall for overweight people who are at denial with the harsh realities of being overweight to hide behind. Based on the two terms that I brought up in the beginning of my presentation, I believe that the reason why the body positivity movement became a sort of denial movement is due to the preachings of fat activists. I believe that these fat activists took over the body positivity movement and made it have the beliefs of fat activism but disguised it as being body positivity. This would make sense as a core value of the fat acceptance movement is to fight against oppressors, which is shown clearly through the harassment Casey Ho faced due to wanting to lose weight and the life of Kelly DeVos. The only recommendation that I have that I believe would be able to get the movement back on track is to raise awareness of the health risk of being overweight. By celebrating everyone without talking about the health issues, it will cause many people to believe that there is no risk and make them okay with living in a high-risk lifestyle. Of course, we should celebrate all bodies, but we should also celebrate anyone who wants to lose weight or anyone who feels sad about their body every now and then, because that is normal. No one feels happy about their body all the time. The body positivity movement can't just be about fat people, and it can't be about denying health risks. Everyone has a body and everyone should be able to celebrate it even if they aren't fat, and everyone should be able to get healthier and not be ashamed for it.